So people are mixed about Elden Ring. Only 61% are positive? That's crazy. So people are mad? Yeah, but like, are they mad because of that, or are they mad for other shit, right? Are they mad because, like, I don't know, they didn't get an item, or there wasn't something in the game that they wanted to be in the game? Well, let me look and see. Just a sec. I had to do cocaine so I could be ready to do my stream today. That's what I was doing. Anyway, so yeah, what's the rest of this? Recommended? Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, I'm so glad I haven't killed myself. That's nice, right? Jumped off a cliff to escape an enemy, landed in a boss arena instead. Yep, there you go. What are the negative ones? People are saying negative reviews, fundamental design, exacerbates, encounter design, why people railed on Lords of the Fallen DLC from software, place enemies in nooks and corners with the sole purpose of trying to cheese you or knock you off an edge. Is it really that much worse than the DLC? I guess, but like, so, because you had the little cocksuckers in the caves, right? The little, fucking, you know, like those little dick suckers, they always did that. That was the case in the whole game. Like, that's not new. Now, is there a little bit of it in Elden Ring? There is. Is it annoying? I don't know. Like, I can see what this person, like, it reminds me of Dark Souls 2, but it wasn't that annoying in my opinion, right? Like, I see what he's saying, though. I definitely do. So, yeah. That's a classic poison swamp. Yeah, exactly. Has this always been present? Yeah. There's a lot more of it, though. I think, you want to know what I think this person's real problem is the fact that those mobs kill you in 2 hits. Because, like, if the mobs, like, because the base Elden Ring NPCs were really weak. So, like, obviously it's going to be easy to deal with that. Because, oh, they attack you from behind. Yeah, but it doesn't do any damage, right? So, like, it's not a big deal. But, like, now, whenever it kills you, and it's, like, you know, you're, like, 5 levels down into a cave that has, like, 3 different points to it, like, then I think that's what the difference is going to be, right? Not mobs, but bosses, actually 2 hits and dead. Some mobs will 2-hit you as well. Character and world scaling DLC from software. I have an idea. The game's DLC is going to exist. Legacy dungeon, tricky enemies, secret corridor, secret weapon you can get. Yeah, I might enter mine. Yeah, I'm not really sure about that. The player scaling is confusing. The base game would be too easy, and they put an upgrade system where most discoverable items boost your absorption. Creates really confusing feedback loop. If I'm struggling to damage enemies, is it my weapon? Should I be leveling? How I not have enough DLC upgrades? I don't know about that. Bosses might be my greatest disappointment. Getting 2-shot with full defensive investment and 2k HP is not an exaggeration. These bosses do not mess around, more than just damage. Their design is a point of frustration. Yeah, so like, this is kind of like, this is the way that I felt about it. But I think there's a big difference between like me and this person. So like, the really big difference about this is that I don't consider this like, so for example, whenever I stopped playing yesterday, if you asked me, do I think the game is good? I would say the answer is yes. So like, for me, like, I don't think the game is bad because it's hard. So like, basically, like, you have good and bad difficulty, right? Now, I do, like, to be fair, I don't like in games where you have, what do you call it? Where you have, like, multiple attack patterns that look basically the same, but they do something different. So, like, for example, like, Mesmer does the spear, the swing, and then the spear. Like, there's, like, if you think about the amount of ways that he does the impale attack, there's, like, 5 of them, right? And each one of them has a different timing and planning. And so, I think that at a certain point, it can feel redundant and frustrating to learn that. If that makes sense. Skill issue? Well, I don't understand, like, what does that mean? Like, so if somebody isn't good at the game, they can't have any opinion about the game? Well, I'm just talking about, like, this is the learning process, and this is how I enjoy the learning process. Like, I feel like the learning process isn't as enjoyable when you have to memorize 3 or 5 different versions of the same attack that does basically the same thing that has a different timing. Like, learning should be fun, right? And so, like, that's the way that I feel about it. And so, the game should have casual mode. People will love the game. I want to finish it. Well, there are a lot of casual mode options. I'm just saying, like, with the bosses, I do think that they're, like, insanely aggressive. And I think also with, what do you call it? Do you think it's too much for the average player, though? Yeah, I do. I think it's too much. But that doesn't necessarily mean the game is bad. Like, for example, Counter-Strike, I think is pretty hard for an average player too, but it doesn't make the game bad, right? And so, are people really having a hard time? Sekiro clears this DLC difficulty-wise? I don't think so. I think Sekiro's a lot easier. Like, and this is coming from somebody who's played both games. Like, I think Sekiro's quite easier. Sekiro's easier? Yeah, that's what I think, right? I mean, again, it's gonna be it depends a lot on the build. Yeah, it does. I think Sekiro, like, I guarantee you there's gonna be builds in the DLC. And I don't want to give people a spoiler, but I did respect my character, and so, hopefully one of those builds is gonna be mine today. So I changed it to, like, something else I thought would maybe work, but, we'll see what happens, right? So, yeah. And the boss's poises are ridiculous. Yeah, exactly. And so, remember Sekiro Rage Quit stream? Yeah, for me, I don't really like doing, like, I don't, so basically, like, if you think of, like, I guess, like, difficulty, right, on, like, a scale of, like, 1 to 10, I don't have fun doing 1 to 3, and I also don't have fun doing 10 and sometimes even 9. But I really have fun inside of that 4 to 8 period, right? Like, that's really fun for me. But whenever I play a game that's, like, really, really challenging, where I have to, like, super lock in and focus, I stop really enjoying myself because I play video games to relax, and whenever I have to do that, I'm not relaxed. I'm tensed up, I'm stressed, I'm, like, hyper-focused, and I don't want to be like that. It's stressful for me. It feels exhausting, right? And so, but, like, again, this isn't a criticism on the game. And this is the point that I'm making, right? Is that I think that there's, like, two separate things where, like, you can look at boss design and you can look at difficulty. And I think that some bosses are designed very badly, but they're very easy, right? Whereas in other cases, there are bosses that are designed very well, but they're extremely hard. Like Ishin from Sekiro, I think is, like, a perfect fucking fight, right? And so, yeah. Are you gonna level up more? Oh, maybe a bit. Because you can't handle the difficulty personally. I love watching people play. Yeah, exactly. You bet the game expects you to play the base game, remember everything up to the point. The problem is the DLC released 2 years later. No, I don't think that's the issue. Yeah, I played DLC for 3 hours, quit the DLC, returned to the base game because it was more fun and enjoyable. Like, seriously, not joking. Yeah, I can see why a lot of people would do that. I mean, to be fair, like, the game... like, I've never played a game that's, like, more punishing and harder than, like, this DLC. Like, maybe some of the bosses in Lies of P. I'm trying to think about it more. But, like, it's really, really hard. Splody? Well, to be fair, as soon as I saw that triple jump, it was not as hard as I thought it was, right? And so, yeah. I beat the DLC, but I had to use magic. Well, that's fine. Shao was having a bit of time on trouble on Moog. He has no idea what awaits him in a DLC. Well, he didn't play the game originally, right? So, like, you've got to remember, like, that's, like, that's his first playthrough, right? So, yeah, and it's not a skill issue. It's poorly designed DLC. Cool looking or not, it's not enjoyable. Well, I think that, again, like, everybody is going to make that decision themselves. Do I think the boss's mechanics are well designed? Yes and no. Yes and no. And so, like, for example, every boss that was really big was horrible to fight. Like, for example, the hippo. I hated fighting the hippo. It was awful. And the reason why it was awful is, number one, like, all of his attacks are delayed. But that's not really, like, again, that's annoying, but that's not really why the boss, I think, is bad. I think the boss is bad because he's really big, and he pushes you into a corner all the time, just naturally, with, like, his movements. And you'll just naturally end up in a corner as well. So you end up having to avoid attacks that it's hard for you to read the attack, because you can't see what's happening. And I think that, like, once a boss's size obscures your vision to be able to see what the boss is doing, it's bad. It's just that simple, right? Not naturally, right? And so that's what I don't like. Yeah, when you're in a corner and you die to the camera. Yeah, exactly. Now, if you had a light build and you rolled their attacks, well, of course you'd be right that if you rolled every single attack, you would not get hit by them. That is a correct statement. You're right about that. And so, why don't we play Elden Ring? Maybe. We'll see what happens, right? Yeah, maybe. And, he's so cool looking, but I never see him because the camera's inside of him. The camera should be far away. No, the problem actually isn't even the camera. The problem is the arena. So if you were able to, like, for example, like, let's say if you had an area to fight him in, like this, but you could see from, like, this direction, right? It would be fine. The problem is that the place that you fight him at, you get right up against the wall, and you can't do anything. There's Hippo in the open world. He's 10x easier to kill than a tiny arena. Yeah, exactly. And so, like, and here's, like, kind of an interesting way of looking at it, and this is the way that I see it, is that this isn't always true, but I think that it's mostly true, is that whenever a boss design and a boss's difficulty varies massively based off of where you fight it, I generally think that the difficulty factor isn't fun. So, for example, if you can fight a boss and you can ask yourself, oh, well, if I could just walk away from this guy or like, get distance on him, it would be way easier, but I'm fighting him in this, like, really claustrophobic area, then I think generally it's bad. Walk away? Well, you can't really because he's so big. People are going to finish level 1 and one-shot everything. You just need to be prepared. You're not thinking about it. Start thinking about it. I understand that. That's not the point. People can speedrun E.T. on Atari. That doesn't make E.T. on Atari a good game. Just think about it. Like, I'm not asking people to, you know, like, you don't have to do rocket science here. Just apply some logic to the situation. Like the fire giant area? Yeah, exactly. E.T. on Atari there was groundbreaking. Well, it was so groundbreaking. Well, you're right, because they had to, you know, dig out that big hole to put all the games in. You're right about that, McConnell. True. Capper Demon, Dark Souls 1. Yeah, exactly. Like, Capper Demon, I think, is... And generally, I don't like claustrophobic fights. And, I find claustrophobic fights to be unnecessarily stressful and unenjoyable. Now, obviously, that's my opinion. And so I'm not saying that, like, this is something that's, like, bad. So, like, for example, there's, like, a very big difference between, like, things that I don't like and things that I think are bad. Like, for example, things that I don't like are claustrophobic fights. Things that I think are bad animations. Or, like, a bad camera. So, like, I think the Hippo is a bad fight because of the bad camera. I think most of his attacks are relatively fair. Like that, a few of his, like, porcupine things are annoying, but other than that, it's fine. So, yeah. And Hippo camera is fine, what the fuck? Oh, I'm talking about the one inside of the castle. I don't... Apparently, there's an outdoor one that's a lot easier, but I'm not talking about that one. Yeah, camera's weird. So, yeah, dancer camera's fun. What about infinite stamina bosses like Renala Moon Knight? She doesn't have infinite stamina. That's not true. Like, there are two, like, that's not the way the fight works. Yeah, I mean, that's it. Like, I thought that fight was totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that fight at all. If anything, I think that fight, like, I think she should have had more health. Like, maybe it was just my build, but the fact that I could kill her and only have to do one phase 2 mechanic, it shouldn't be like that. Like, that's not good. And so, yeah, like, it took me like 10, 15 attempts, something like that, yeah. But I thought that was fine. The Hippo is easier than her, in my opinion. But, like, see, this is the problem, is, like, it's so hard to have a conversation about difficulty in a video game, because everybody doesn't think about it from any perspective other than their own. I understand that, for you, it's easy to do that fight, and, like, I beat the Hippo pretty easily, too. Like, it was annoying, but, like, I eventually beat him, and, like, when I beat him, I beat the fuck out of him. I killed him in, like, less than, like, fucking a minute, right? So, yeah. Skill actually is an issue, though. Well, the thing is that the way that a game punishes you for not being skilled does have to do with the enjoyable nature of the game. So, for example, if being unskilled or not knowing the way a game works is extremely punishing to the point where it's not fun, then you can't really blame it on the player for saying, hey, I'm not having fun for this. Do you see what I'm saying? Sometimes, yeah, a good example of annoying enemies in DLC. Does it remind me of Dark Souls 2 Dragonspire Knights? Huge HP pools. A lot of piece of shit and unfun. Yeah, I don't know. It's how they teach you. Yeah, exactly. And so, Also depends on how overpowered you are. People are mad they're getting filtered by the game content made to be hard. Weird, I'm gonna blame the low skill players who won't change. I just like... I still think the DLC is a 10. I think the DLC is amazing. It's great. But for me, it's so hard that it's not fun. Does that make sense? Like, I think it's a 10 out of 10 game. It's amazing. But, like, whenever the difficulty level is so high that I basically have to perform a choreographed dance to the point where I cannot make a mistake or I will die, I am no longer enjoying myself. I'm not having fun anymore. I'm just basically behaving and playing like a bot. That's the way that I feel. Now, obviously, other people might feel differently. And that's why I'm not saying the game's bad. But that's the way that I feel. I don't have fun doing that, playing games like that. Like, yeah, it's just it's not enjoyable. That's the way that I feel. There's an RPG aspect that comes in. It 100% gets easier with leveling and good builds. Yeah, maybe it does. I'm not really sure. But that's why I must develop a Souls game like mental. I mean, I don't know if it's obvious or not, but I have a very bad mental. I do. I tilt way too easily. I can't deal with like any stress or frustration at all, right? Like if you go back to my Dark Souls 1 streams, I immediately lose my cool. I will get mad in like a fraction of a second and I can't get unmad. And you can see if you watch the VODs, you will see the moment where I get frustrated and I never emotionally recover from that for the entire rest of the stream. I never do. Because I can't keep my cool. I can't do it. And I've been like this even whenever I was a little kid. I think that it's just gotten worse, to be honest. What ends up happening with me is that, like, and I think that this, like, streaming definitely makes it, like, way worse, right? Because it's like I play the game, and I struggle at the game, and everybody says that I'm a piece of shit, right? So it's like, it's almost like I can't lose, because everybody is waiting to, like, hate me for losing. And, like, it makes it very unenjoyable. I feel like I can't learn games on stream because people are constantly calling me stupid or trying to, like, give me bad information or insulting me. And to be honest, I don't like dealing with that. I hate that. I don't like being insulted or berated or people being rude to me or anything like that. And so if that happens to me and I'm... Like, I ask myself, it does genuinely bother me. I really don't like it. And because of that, I can't really deal with that level of, like, frustration at all. I can't deal with it. I can't. And I've tried for years. And I've made negative progress, to be honest with you. Is beating your head against the wall with a jumping attack? Because I get frustrated. Like, that's what I'm saying, is I can't turn that off in my head. I just get so frustrated and upset that I can't stop it. Seek a professional? No, I don't want to... So you want me to, like, reorient my entire life and go to therapy because I get mad at a video game? No, I would just stop playing the game. No, I'm not gonna, like, you know, take drugs or... No, it's just a game. Yeah. You're joking? This isn't normal? Well, for me it is. And, like, I don't have, like, I don't have, like, like, an off switch for, like, getting upset. Like, I will just get more and more and more mad. And I can't control that at all. And I think that playing games like this that are frustrating on stream brings out every negative aspect of my personality. Like, I'm insecure, I'm angry, I am like stubborn, like I'm not funny. Like, everything about it, hard game is stressful. It is, and I get really stressed out. I do. I get really stressed out, and I can't deal with it. And whether you say that's like me being bad or stupid or a loser or weak or anything, that doesn't change the reality that it's happening. And I can't make it stop. Like, I've been doing this now, like, as I said before, I never, like, if I could go back, I would have never streamed Dark Souls. I would have never done it. Because I hate the way that makes me feel. What? No, yeah, I'm serious. Like, I genuinely hate the way it makes me feel. And so, I think now that I'm, like, older, the reason why I give up on things very quickly is because I know that it's going to take me down that path. And I know myself, and I know that I can't deal with it. And so, like, at a certain point, like, knowing yourself is important to where, why are you doing something that is going to stress you out or upset you? Like, what's the point of it? And so, what a pussy? Well, how am I being a pussy? I don't even understand this. And, like, this is the thing, is, like, I can't even... It's just, it's so unfun for me to stream when, like, I can't even learn or get better at a game without people just, like, insulting me and shitting on me constantly. It's like I have to do it right on my first time, or I can't do it, like, or I'm bad. Like, it's just not fun for me. That's generally the way that I feel about it. Like, it makes me not want to stream. Like, if this is the way streaming was for me all the time, I wouldn't stream. You're so stubborn? I am. I don't like it. Straight up, like, I don't like it. And I don't, at this point, I don't think I'm ever, like, I'm not even going to try to stop being this way. I've tried it for 6 years, trying to, like, overcome it. Like, I was the same whenever I was a little kid with, like, video games, right? That's why there's holes in my wall. Because I would, like, throw the controller through the wall. This is what Hassan means whenever he says streaming can be hard. No, this is just, like, an issue with me, right? This has nothing to do really with streaming, it's just me. But, I mean, it's Twitch chat banter. I don't like that, though. I don't think you understand. Like, I don't like that. I don't. I don't like being treated. I don't like people talking to me that way at all. Like, and also, I don't think it is banter. Like, with other streamers, I think that it's okay that, like, you know, they're, like, joking around. I have a lot of people that, like, genuinely fucking hate me. And they just, like, are just super negative and hostile to me. It's not funny to me, and I don't like it. Just straight up. Like, I don't like being treated this way at all. Like, that's just really the way I feel. And so, hate watchers? Yeah, exactly. What about you insulting small streamers on your show the other day? Well, that's part of the show. You go on the show for that. I didn't insult them. I gave them feedback. Yeah. And you're probably going to need to evolve your mental for streaming. Due to the bigger you get, your bigger problems get stuff. No, I don't need to. Because this is a problem that only happens whenever I play video games. Like, I never have this problem whenever I'm just talking or doing other stuff. Like, I never have this issue at all. It's only inside of this one individual, like, tiny little slice of a problem. And then everything else, it's never an issue. Like, I never have this issue, like, just never play video games. I think that, I actually think I'm going to tone down a lot of, like, me playing games, yeah. I think I am. Because I've had so many situations where I just get so mad. And I feel, like, really upset and, like, just really anxious and stressed out. And, like, this doesn't even have to do with chat. It's just the way that, like, it makes me feel. And it just really, it feels really upsetting. And, like, I get really stressed out and I don't like it. And so it's like, why am I doing something that like, where's the upside, right? What am I doing this for? So yeah, such a low vibe today. Cheer up. Yeah, no, I'm being honest, guys. I'm being honest because I hardly ever tell people, like, the way that I feel about this, but like, I have, like, crazy, like, really, really, really bad anxiety, and anytime that I kind of lose control of something or things aren't going the way that I want to, that anxiety goes like, I like goes through the roof. Like I can't deal with it. And so I just can't. And so like if anything happens where I feel like I'm losing control or like things aren't going the way I want them to, or I'm out of my comfort zone, I totally fucking freak out. And I think it's gotten worse over the years because like the amount of like responsibilities and obligations I've had over the years have just gotten more and more and more. And like at the point now where like I can't take a break from streaming, I can't just ignore people anymore. I'm in a position where like I can't like kind of recover at all mentally, emotionally. And so I'm just like constantly under this pressure and I can't deal with it. And like with whenever I have like the like a game is like frustrating me at that point, that just takes me over the edge. Like that I can't do it. Like I'm over the quota. Want to take a break though? I can't. I can't take a break. I have people that rely on me, people that need me to do things, like a lot of people. I can't just take a break. And so you can see how, like having to deal with this kind of stuff is, I just don't like it. I don't want to do it. Yeah, like I don't want to do it. It's not enjoyable. So like whenever I have like a situation where I'm in like a stress situation, I have to get out of it. I cannot deal with any extra stress. So that's the way that I feel. Not to be smart to put yourself in a position and tides up. You have to find a good way to get through it and listen to yourself. Well, the way I get through it is that I don't put myself into stressful situations normally. And ironically, exercise 2 times a week. No, I don't want anybody's advice on like what to do or how to handle this stuff. Like, no, I just don't want to deal with it. Like, that's literally it. People are so obnoxious how good or bad someone is at a video game. Yeah, I really like it. Just, I know it sounds stupid, but I can't handle it. Yeah, like I don't want to deal with it. I can't handle it. And like it's been the second day, and I don't want to do it. This stuff tilts me too. Yeah, I can't untilt. I don't know what you want me to do. Like, I mean, I can't be a robot. I think with almost everything else, I can. Basically, I can deal with almost anything else, but this I just can't deal with. Because it's just the way that I feel. So, yeah. If people have like negative things, once I'm triggered, I'm done. Yeah, I'm unironically triggered. I got really mad. And I can't stop it. So, I just want you guys to understand that. People try on purpose to get your reaction, fuck them. I think people are kind of surprised at your response because you're making fun of journalists for days saying it's too hard. But those people are retarded. I'm making fun of journalists for saying it's too hard because they said the game is bad. That's the difference. I never said that you're not allowed to be bad at the game. I never said that. I said if you're bad at the game, you shouldn't be saying the game is bad. And if these people don't know what they're doing, and they don't know how to play the game, they shouldn't be writing a review about the game saying it's bad. Did I say the game was bad? No. I said the camera on a few bosses was bad for fucking sure. No, I think it's a 10 out of 10 game. It's a great game. It's just too hard for me to enjoy it. Would it be different if you weren't streaming it? It would not be as bad. Whenever I'm not streaming, it's still bad. Like, I've been like this. It has nothing to do with your skill. It's just the game is hard. Well, it has everything to do with my skill. If I was better, if I was the best player at the game, then I wouldn't have this problem. Obviously, it has to do with me being good. But it's frustrating and stressful that I have to be that good, and I don't enjoy it. Does that make sense? Aren't you maybe overwhelmed by Mesmer's fight? Yeah, I get overwhelmed and, like, I get sensory overload really easily. You just suck then? Yeah, I'm really not that great at video games. Yeah, I'm really bad, to be honest. I think I am. I'm not good. Like I'm kind of mediocre. And like I don't want to go and like try to like force myself to play a game. Like, yeah, it's like I don't really have like a drive to do it, really. I just don't want to deal with it. Some people are good at games. Yeah, I mean I'm just not. I don't know what you want me to say. Yeah. I mean, I don't want anybody to think that, like, I think I'm, like, some great, amazing player. I'm probably above average, right? Sure, I'm above average. I mean, but, like, I mean, for the amount of time that I play games, I should be way better than I am. Like, if anybody else put the same amount of time into a game that I did, they would be better than I am. Like, I'm good at planning, and I'm good at, like, kind of figuring out strategies, but I'm not good, like, individually at, like, being able to, like, dodge and react to things. But either way, like, I just can't handle losing and, like, that frustration of it on stream. I just can't do it. And I promise you that every time that I go into a game like this, it will happen. And it's at the point where, like, now, like, I actually dread whenever new games come out sometimes because I just feel like I'm gonna get stuck and get mad. And I know it's gonna happen. And I try not to go into that with that attitude because I feel like it's sometimes self-fulfilling prophecy. But I just can't stop it whenever it happens. I just can't. I can't. I get so mad, it's insane. It's unironically bad content. Yeah, like, I think that, like, for some streamers, it's, like, good to watch them get mad. I don't think that... I don't think it's entertaining to watch me get mad because, like, I get really upset to the point to where it's, like, unsettling. And so, yeah. It's just annoying. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't want to do it anymore. But yeah, that's basically it. So, as you know, I'm naturally bad at video games? Yeah, I'm just not. Like, isn't just games? Well, if it isn't just games, bro, like... How do you know it isn't just games? All you do is you sit here and you watch me on my stream. You don't know what I'm doing in my real life. You don't know anything about me. You don't know me. What are you doing trying to tell me that? It's so weird. But yeah, I just want to let you guys know that I really don't like that kind of stuff. It does genuinely bother me. I do get kind of like insecure and bothered by it a lot. And if people treat me that way, I just don't want to deal with it. I'm not really that good at games. I don't like putting that out on display because it just makes me feel stupid. And I don't think I'm ever going to be good at games, really. Like, I don't think that I have, like, the drive to push myself to do it. And also, I don't think I have, like, the mechanical dexterity. I just don't. Because, like, my hands are very shaky and I'm an extremely high-strung person. Like, super, super high-strung. And so, like, for me, like, I'm always on edge all the time, basically. And so, like, whenever I play a game like this, it makes it, like, even worse. So, yeah, I don't, like, I don't want to deal with, like, any degree of, like, hostility or frustration or anything like that. I hate the ego with counting deaths. I just have I have, like, a huge mental problem with dealing with it, and I don't want to... Like, you have to think about it from my perspective, is that, wouldn't it be better for me that if whenever I played a video game, I could just learn and play the game normally without having an autistic meltdown? Wouldn't that be better for me? It would be, right? So I keep trying. I keep trying. I keep trying. And every time, the same thing happens. And it's exhausting, man. It's so exhausting, and I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of doing the same thing. Why don't you work on it? I've worked on it for years. At what point do you just give up? Like, I'm 33. What am I doing? Never? So then I just spend my entire life getting mad? and being upset and frustrated. Why would I do that? It doesn't even make sense. I know it's like kind of like a weird, ask what's the trigger? The trigger is losing control and sensory overload and not knowing what's going on. Like that's what it is. It's like the losing control and like not being able to like know what's happening. And so, like, because I have the same thing happen, like, in situations similar to that in real life. Do you handle it better now than as a child? No, I handle it basically about the same, or the worse. I sort of see it from your point, but I trust you. Yeah, I mean, I don't really, like, I don't need people to really see my point of view. I think that, like, at the end of the day, most people, like, this isn't really going to change anybody's mind. If people think that I'm a piece of shit, they're still going to think that. It's not like this is gonna be like, oh, wait a minute, no, it's actually bothering them, I'm not gonna think this anymore. They're gonna still think the exact same thing. But I just wanted to let everybody that, like, you know, like, people that are actually watching and trying to, like, you know, be positive. I'll give it another shot today, because I usually try to give it, like, 2 tries before I give up, because I know myself, right? And maybe try and adapt a little bit, do a few different things, but then otherwise, I'm pretty much just done, right? And I think that this is, like, more of a collective thing, is that I'm done playing games that are, like, really hard on stream. Like, I don't want to do that anymore. It's only brought me unhappiness. Like, I've never been happy doing that, ever. And I don't want to do it anymore. So, like, any game that's, like, very challenging or, like, hard to the point to where, like, I get to this way, I just don't want to play it anymore. I just don't. Like, I don't have the mental and emotional energy to do it anymore. Sorry. That's it. Anyway, can go back and forth about it, but yeah. You say this regularly, routinely, though? Yeah, I know. That's why I need to actually stop doing it. Because it's clearly very unhealthy, right? It's extremely very unhealthy. I'm doing it in front of a big audience. I can't control I'm acting irrationally. Yeah, I should just stop doing it. Like, what's wrong with me? Like, I'll say one more thing. I don't know how other people do it. I don't know how somebody like, you know, S-Fan or Emmy, or, like, I don't know, like, Chance, maybe, like, how they can play a game and not have a fucking meltdown whenever they're losing. Because, like, I'll beat it faster than some of them will. And I'll still be more mad. I don't know how, I can't imagine that. Like, it's insane how mad that I get. Like, if I told people how, like, what I feel and what I think whenever I get really upset, it would change people's perspective of me. I get really, really fucking mad, and I can't control it.